Also, like you rightly said, my audience and the traffic that I get is mostly from Indians, expats living in Germany, and the people who are living in India. What I must definitely underline here is that we, for Indians, so buying a property is super important. So
Yeah.
this is something that we are crazy about even in India. So when you ask any random person their goal, I would say 90% of them say, okay, I want to own a house of myself. So I want to own a
Yeah.
property. So this
Yeah.
is quite a thing in India. And as the Indians are the ones who will be coming to Germany and who are living in Germany, I'm quite sure that they would be exploring about the investment opportunities in the real estate. This is something that I'm quite aware of. One main thing, based on my experience after living in Germany and also investing in the real estate in
Yeah.
Germany and in India, the major difference that I would like to share to my audience is that in India, the appreciation for a property is super high. So it could be that every year the appreciation can be 10%, 20%, 30%, even 100%. So there is based on the location. So there is this thing. And usually when someone is buying a real estate in India, they are looking into appreciation. So I'm going to pay 20,000 euros to buy a piece of land. In 5 years, I would like to get 100,000. So this is the mindset that they will
Wow.
have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's quite different from the German market. But when you buy there, you don't get loan for 100% like in Germany. So that's a different
Yeah.
story. Like you rightly mentioned, I think it's about 60 or 80%. I'm not 100% sure there, the
Yeah.
exact number, but still you have to put in a lot of your equity there in order to
Yeah.
buy the property and also in order to get the loan to buy the property.
Yeah.
But here it's 100% loan, close to 100% of loan that
Yeah.
you will get. That's the major difference, I would say. Then the rental yield that you get here for your property, it can be same as the amount that you pay back to the bank. So this means
Yeah.
that you more or less don't have to pay every month
Yeah.
more to pay back your loan. So this is an interest. Again, it depends on which property you buy in Germany, right? So it could be that if you
Yeah.
go and buy a new property, then this won't be the case, right? So
Yeah.
your rental yield will be bit less than what you have to pay back to the bank on a monthly basis. But this is the case in Germany. But in India, it's again different. So the rental yields are very low in India. So there is a
Okay.
huge difference. So let's say when you get a rent of 100 euros, you might
Mhm.
have to pay back always to the bank around 300 to 400 euros. So it's a huge
Wow.
difference
Okay.
there. Yes, the rental yields are not so good in India, but the appreciation is super high. And
Okay.
again, comparing it to
Yeah.
Germany, the rental yields are good, but the appreciation is not so exciting
Yeah.
as in India. But there are always ups and downs in the real estate markets and in any investment markets for that to say. But this is one of the major difference based on my experience. I just want to share so that people
Cool.
get to know what they are getting out of it.
Yeah, when many Indian clients also tell me when you
Yeah.
know them a bit better for a bit
Yeah.
longer time. One client told me like culturally that's so deeply embedded basically that like
Yeah.
owning a property is a life goal for many Indians. Always very exciting to learn about the culture and all of that. And what you already mentioned is very true. That's like with good, in my opinion, good investment properties, the rental yield plus the tax advantage should cover your mortgage payment. Right? That's always our philosophy. We only offer properties where that is the case. You have a 10% down payment, then your rental yield plus the tax advantage covers most of your mortgage, right? That's always our philosophy because that way you can really scale. And of course, when you buy a new property or like a property fault that many clients make, or not clients of ours, but then people that I meet and then become clients and they already did some decisions, is that they buy like in the big cities in Germany, like in Munich, Hamburg, Düsseldorf, Berlin, Frankfurt. And there, yes, the rents are high, but the prices are insane. So when you buy in a location like that, typically what you described is true regarding the mortgage. Like you have maybe 2,000 euro mortgage and 1,000 euro rental income, which is maybe fine for one property, but then that's like on your neck and you always have to pay. And also when you want to buy the next one, the bank will say, hey, you're already 1,000 negative or 500 negative on the one property. Maybe we don't give you any more loans. So that's why I always say for beginners, it's very important. Yes, when you already have millions and just want to park that, then yes, go ahead, invest in Berlin and Frankfurt or Munich and hope it appreciates even further. But when you want to start out, let me say like below 10 apartments that you own, you should never go into those big cities because they're always going to be cash flow negative. And when you want to build a portfolio, it's very important that you buy properties that pay for themselves, essentially. Right?
Very true.
But that was actually a new thing that I learned, that in India, like the rental yield is so low.
It is indeed super low. And one more point that I want to touch down, which was also a learning when I was buying the property 4 years back. The thing that you mentioned, you just said it naturally, but it's an exciting thing. What I want to share is that you're not talking about only buying one property, you're talking about multiple properties. It's not just one apartment or one property that I can buy, I can have multiple properties. And you also said that you own 6 properties. So this means that even any expat can own multiple properties and not just one property. Right, if you do it right, yeah, for sure. So while I was talking about this, what came to my mind is that when I decided to own a property, it was, I don't know, 6 years back or so, I started to do my research. Okay, I'm an expat. Am I even eligible to buy the property in Germany? I was completely lost. Plus, every content out there, at least 6 years back, was in German. Like my German was not the best at that point in time. And I was like, okay, this is too complicated. I don't know, maybe I can't even buy. But since I was really looking out for opportunities, how I can start into investing. I am a consistent investor for the ETFs, and in India, like the SIPs, it's called, also similar to ETFs. But I was looking for diversifying my investment. So real estate is one obvious thing. Plus, my family back in India, they're a lot into real estate. So that means that I was always having these things in my mind, and I started to research a lot. Luckily, in Berlin at the time when I was in Berlin, I was attending one of the meetups where these guys were explaining everything in English about real estate investment, plus the Rich Dad and Poor Dad guy. So this is the first book that I actually bought to understand the real estate investment. And I learned a lot from this book. And from this book, I got to know how things work in the US market, right? But I didn't know if it was the same in Germany. And then after going to this meetup, I realized that, okay, it could be that it's not so lucrative as in the US when it comes to the rental income that you get, but at least it's comparable is what I learned.
Yeah, and you can, again, finance way more. In the US, you always have to put 20% down payment. Exactly. Right? Here you can finance 100%. I would say German real estate is even more lucrative. But of course, the rental yields are a bit lower than in the US, of course.
Exactly. So that's the thing that I learned. After I learning about that, went ahead and found one of the companies like yours who were offering for the expats to buy this property. And then I learned everything over there.